And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and also on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com is where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Dial directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, in today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. On today's segments, Joel Saltzman will be here. That's Dr. Saltz on wireless, and he's talking about wireless technology. Well, Ray Mailer is out on assignment today, so he won't be with you, but I'm going to give you some strategies for nailing down the home office deductions that are on your taxes. Tell you exactly how you can do that and do it so that the IRS won't object. But right now, I want you to stand by for news. But first, I want you to know that at 3:06 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 85 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we're talking about the news. We're going to get into an encapsulated part of the news so you can get an idea of what's really going on, and then we'll get more in depth as we go along. Here are the 10 things that you need to know for today, Wednesday. Your daily look at late breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that'll be talked about all day today and tomorrow. Now, with a new leader, Canada reclaims its liberty identity. Many of you have worried that Canada has lost its compassionate and constructive voice in the world over the past 10 years. Well, I have a simple message for you on behalf of 35 million Canadians. We're back, declares Prime Minister-elect Justin Trudeau. And the Associated Press follows migrants' journey of death into life. Mohammed al-Hajj trek from war-torn Syria to Germany is part of a historic movement of humanity. More than 600,000 migrants this year have crossed land and sea seeking sanctuary in Europe. And who signs the pact to lessen risks over Syria? Well, the United States and Russia, whose warplanes are flying combat missions with separate aims in Syria, agreed to air safety protocols that include improving communications and keeping safe distances between aircraft. And why mediators face uphill battles in Israeli-Palestinian upheavals. You know, amid a spat of lone wolf Palestinian knife attacks and Israeli retaliation, it remains unclear how much influence leaders on either side have over stemming the violence. I don't think much, if you think about it. Well, American Cancer Society revises breast exam guidance and says the group now says women should start mammograms later in life and get fewer of them. And what Representative Ryan says about House leadership posts. The Wisconsin Republican suggests he would seek the speakership role if fellow GOP lawmakers unite behind him. There's a big controversy going on that. We'll talk about it. And United States Representative Army intelligence system was down during the hospital attack. A computerized intelligence network was offline in Afghanistan during a U.S. airstrike that killed 22 staff, patients, and others at hospitals in Kunduz, Representative Duncan Hunter says. And Lexus tops the vehicle reliability survey. Transmission problems trip up Honda, Nissan, and Jeep in the annual Consumer Reports Reliability Review. And Star Wars trailer lights up the social media. Twitter says there were more than 17,000 tweets a minute when the promo aired Monday night, and over 1.1 million tweets since then. And finally, the Royals are one win away from the World Series. Kansas City routs Toronto 14-2, takes a commanding 3-1 ALCS lead. Now, let's get into some in-depth news. That's where we want to be, but we're going to do that right after these brief messages. We're going to go for a commercial break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. I've got good news for you.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. You know, we're talking about the news, and you know what? Joe says no. Biden will not run. A boost for Clinton. After months of tortured indecision, Vice President Joe Biden said today he will not be a candidate in the 2016 White House campaign, solidifying Hillary Rodham Clinton's status as the Democratic frontrunner and the party's likely heir to President Barack Obama's legacy. Standing under bright sun in the White House Rose Garden, Biden spoke movingly movingly about mourning the recent death of his son, Beau, a process he said does not match the political calendar. While he said his family was emotionally prepared to undertake a grueling presidential campaign, they arrived at that decision too late for him to mount a credible bid for a job that has long been the North Star of his political ambitions. Unfortunately, I believe we're out of time, said Biden, flanked by his wife Jill and the president. Biden's decision puts to rest the uncertainty hanging over the Democratic primary. The race will likely settle into two-person contest between Clinton and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who has energized the party's liberal base but lacks Clinton's campaign infrastructure and support from party leaders. Biden was seen by some Democrats as an ideal blend of Clinton's establishment credentials and Sanders' populist appeal. Interest in his potential candidacy was fueled both by an outpouring of affection after his son succumbed to cancer in May and the persistent questions about Clinton's viability, particularly amid revelations about her controversial email use at the State Department. However, Clinton appeared to calm nervous reporters with a commanding performance in last week's first Democratic debate. What was already a narrow path to the presidency for Biden appeared to get even smaller. In a written statement today, Clinton praised Biden's unyielding faith in America's promise and said she expected he would always be on the front lines, always fighting for all of us. The two spoke by phone shortly after the vice president concluded his remarks. Well, Biden notably did not endorse a candidate in the Democratic race. Instead, he delivered a 13-minute speech that very well could have been a platform for the campaign he'll never run. He decried the role of big money in politics and touted the importance of reducing income inequality and making college education more accessible, issues with significant support among liberals. You know what? We'll see what happens here. He also repeated a veiled criticism of Clinton that had crept into his speeches in recent days, saying Democrats should not view Republicans as their enemies. Clinton said in a debate that she was proud to count the GOP among the enemies she made during her political career. Well, enough of that. It is what it is, right? That's exactly, that's just kind of what it is. Well, Lamar Odom and Khloe Kardashian call off the divorce amid a recovery. Lamar Odom and Khloe Kardashian have decided to stay married as the former NBA star continues his recovery a week after he was found unconscious at a Nevada brothel. Kardashian's lawyer, Laura Wasser, filed a petition today to dismiss the reality star's divorce filing from December 2013. A clerk granted the request in such a way that the divorce papers can be refiled at a later date. The document doesn't state a reason for the change, but it shows Odom signed off on dismissing the divorce yesterday. Kardashian has been by Odom's side since he was found in extremely critical condition October the 13th at the Love Ranch brothel in the rural community of Crystal, Nevada, and hospitalized in Las Vegas. He regained consciousness Friday and was transported to Los Angeles on Monday. Kardashian posted a statement to her website Tuesday stating Odom made incredible strides at Sunrise Hospital and Medical Center in Las Vegas and thanking the doctors and nurses for their kindness and diligent work. Well, you know what? No telling why Kardashian's doing that, but that just seems to be, I don't know. Is it the news? I don't know what that is. How about this? Fractious House conservatives resist Ryan's call to unify. Fractious conservatives resisted Paul Ryan's appeals to rally around him for House Speaker today, suggesting fresh trouble ahead in the Republican struggle between pragmatists and purists. The fight has rendered Congress almost dysfunctional and shaken the party's presidential campaign. The conservatives' reaction cast doubt on whether Ryan, the GOP's 2012 vice presidential nominee, can get the buy-in from all factions of the House that he says he needs to run for Speaker. The Wisconsin congressman, a reluctant candidate for the post, has been asked to run by mainstream party leaders seeking to resolve a crisis set in motion when compromise-adverse conservatives pushed Speaker John Boehner to resign and then pressured his likely successor into withdrawing. The same intrapparty divide is rolling the Republicans' presidential campaign, with outsiders led by Donald Trump dominating the field for months. Well, we're going to see what happens here. It's Republicans fighting Republicans and Republicans fighting Republicans. Yep, there's three factions that are going on. Who knows what the heck is going to really happen? And finally, Assad and Putin meeting signals a push to end the Syria crisis. Bashar Assad's surprise meeting with Vladimir Putin could signal that Russia ultimately seeks a political settlement after weeks of heavy airstrikes in Syria, but the terms of such an arrangement are uncertain, and questions remain about whether Moscow will seek the departure of its longtime ally or try for a power-sharing agreement. In a further sign that a diplomatic push might be underway to end the 4-year crisis, Russia announced today that Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry had agreed to meet Friday in Vienna with their counterparts from Saudi Arabia and Turkey, both firm Assad critics. Well, we'll see what happens with that. Time will tell. But, having said that, we are going to take one more short break. When we come back, I'm going to talk about the IRS loses. First case up, IRS must repay funds after a refund deadline. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Dental Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show. The IRS loses sends chills up and down my spine. So you know what? Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it. My first case up that the IRS lost, they must repay funds after a refund deadline. Here's the case. An estate held property that was involved in litigation and hard to value. Before filing its return or receiving any tax bill, it remitted $165,000 to the IRS to stop penalties and interest from running on any tax that it might have owed. Now later, it filed a late return showing no tax due, but the IRS said that the deadline for refunding its $165,000 tax payment had passed. The estate said the $165,000 hadn't been a tax payment, but a deposit not subject to the deadline. So they went to court. This is what the judge actually said. No tax had been calculated at the time of remittance. And the IRS's own rules say that an undesignated remittance made before a tax liability is proposed is a deposit. The estate gets their money back, and they get interest on their money, and the IRS has to pay the legal fees. Now, you gotta love this stuff, right? How about this? The IRS loses. A wife in a community property state gets credit for all her withholding. Sounds right to me, doesn't it to you? Well, wait till you hear this. A couple separated after the 8th month of the year and filed separate returns. The husband had income during the 8 months but paid no tax. Under community property rules, the IRS said that half this income was taxable to the wife. She was employed and had $38,354 of tax withheld from her pay. But the IRS credited the husband with $12,785 of it, half of the withholding during the 8 months. She protested, went to tax court. This is what the wise judge had to say. The wife was properly taxed on her half, on half of her husband's income, but it was inequitable to deny her credit for tax that she had paid and credit it to the husband who had paid none. So she gets credit for all of her payments. So even though she still has to pay tax on half of his income, all of her income, her withholding goes toward that. He doesn't get any credit for that at all. Here's another case that the IRS lost. Improper deductions do not prove fraud. Here's the case. Carlos Sala invested a large amount in what the IRS said was an illegal tax shelter. It sent a bill or tax bill that he paid, but he then sought a refund of $1.5 million of interest that the IRS could collect only in fraud cases. This is the IRS's position. The shelter was fraudulent because the deductions it gave were much larger than any amount Sala ever risked losing on his investment in it. And this is what the court said. Sala's small risk of loss might make his deduction improper, but fraud requires acts of deceit and concealment from the IRS. Sala had acted openly and even obtained a lawyer's opinion about the shelter's propriety before investing in it. Now, there was no proof of fraud, so the refund, yep, you got it, absolutely allowed. Now, you've heard me talking about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing weird things, and you'd love to be there, right? Well, these are decisions that they make and things that they do that you can actually use in your own defense. They're not tax court cases, but they are published, so you get to use these in your defense, and it sometimes can really help you. So this is what we're talking about when we talk about inside the IRS. Oh, yeah, here we are inside the IRS. Here's our first case. When the IRS wants to find out what your credit report says about you. You ever think about that? Well, it is permissible under the Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act for the IRS to request your credit report if you owe back taxes. Now, the Collection Division of the IRS routinely orders credit report to determine what assets a delinquent taxpayer owns or to confirm the financial information provided by a taxpayer who requests an installment agreement or an offer in compromise. But you've got to be careful. Not paying tax because you don't have money generally is not a crime, but submitting false financial information to the IRS is. Matter of fact, sending false financial information to a bank is also a crime. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So you've got to be careful with these things. Let's give you one more here. Contesting the decision of a revenue agent after a tax examination. You know, the most common method of protesting adjustments proposed by a revenue agent is to ask that your case be considered by the IRS Office of Appeals. Now, the IRS Office of Appeals is not an independent agency. Officers work for the IRS, but most times its staffers make an effort to resolve cases to the mutual satisfaction of both taxpayers and the IRS. But you gotta be careful. An appeals officer is permitted to reopen an issue that was agreed on during the examination, and he or she may raise new issues if the potential effect on the tax liability is material. So your best approach? Consider not taking your case to the IRS Office of Appeals if you know that the revenue agent failed to develop a significant issue that could cost you more money let's see here. There we go. That could cost you, what the heck is going on here? There we go. That could cost you more money than you might save in an appeals on your other issues. So kind of keep that in mind when you're doing these things. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. We'll talk to Joel and see what's new in the wireless world. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time, currently 85 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, he's waiting in the wings. I can't, you know what? Every week I say this same thing. He's waiting in the wings. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. But you know, it's the honest to God truth. This man knows, he's forgotten more about wireless technology and the news that's going on than you and I ever hoped to know. So let's get him in here and find out what's new in the wireless industry. Help me welcome aboard our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Hey, Joel, you out there?
I'm out there, Robert. How are you? I'm waiting in the wings.
You know what? I'm doing good. The weather is not 100 degrees. It's much nicer. It's 85 degrees. This is almost, sweater weather for me.
Yeah, it's very pleasant out here as well, Robert. Unfortunately, I think it's going to heat up in a day or two, so don't get too used to it.
Yep. You know what? Yeah, I think you may be right, but I'm going up to the mountains. I'm going to go up to a cabin up in the mountains on Friday. So I'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and it's going to be quite pleasant and beautiful and crisp air, and I'm not going to have any of that heat, at least for the weekend.
Well, bring that sweater for the evenings.
Yeah, I see it. They're saying it could get down into the 30s.
But boy, do we have a lot of interesting stuff.
Well, started off with an update on AT&T with the Wi-Fi phone calls, because we still haven't got any news on it.
Okay, AT&T was supposed to be adding Wi-Fi dialing, and if you don't have that option yet, you might want to make sure you've got the latest version of their software. I know you have the latest version of the Apple software, but when you go under settings, general, and phone, you should see an option that says Wi-Fi dialing, and if you don't, I would call AT&T directly.
Okay, that's good advice.
They need to push something over.
That's good advice. I will absolutely, certainly, I will do it.
Okay, good idea. I did see something interesting from Tom's Guide. They did a Best Phone Carrier 2015 survey, and guess who they rated number one?
T-Mobile.
Well, yes, they did. They actually rated. Why do you know I was going to say that? They actually rated both Verizon and T-Mobile, great, but they have T-Mobile at the top. And they're basically saying if they have coverage in your area, where they obviously do in LA, then they're a great choice. And they're saying that on a national level, Verizon obviously has got wider coverage, but they say that T-Mobile finished first and Verizon finished just behind them, based on the strength of their extensive LTE network.
Wow!
But they really, really like T-Mobile.
Well, I think that, you know what, I just knew that it had to be that, because you wouldn't be asking me if that wasn't the case. You have this affinity.
If it was somebody I didn't like.
Yeah. At first, I was thinking to myself, how in the hell does he expect me to know this? And then I thought, there could only be one answer.
Exactly. They like their performance. They like their plans. They like customer service, and they like the other things like the Wi-Fi dialing and the international roaming. And, they gave a 91 out of 100 points, which was pretty impressive, I thought, for them.
If that was a bottle of wine, we'd be having a great time.
Absolutely. They say the good is they offer lots of data plans at competitive pricing, free perks, like free music streaming and rollover data, strong network performance in most cities, good for international travel. The bad was performance outside of cities still lags, Verizon and AT&T, and they finished a little behind the major carriers in customer support. But heck, you got to figure AT&T and Verizon should have great customer support at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And they do. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Verizon actually does have some good news and some bad news for this month. The good news is, I think we mentioned last week, how they had raised their pricing for the grandfathered unlimited data plan users.
Yes, you did announce it.
From $29.99 to $49.99, which is a pretty substantial hike. Guess they felt guilty because they also made an announcement that they will not be throttling anybody, and you can use as much data as you want.
Well, that was just so that, with a huge hike like that, that was just to try and keep people around.
Well, you know what? There's only maybe 1% of their clients who still are on unlimited data plans. They've done everything they can to systematically get these people to get off those plans. They didn't subsidize those plans where they did the other, all kinds of incentives. So those people who stayed up there on those plans and who just took the hike are now being rewarded. And the reason that's significant is even unlimited plans, I'm talking Sprint, and I'm talking T-Mobile. There is no such thing as a truly unlimited plan with those two carriers, and both will throttle you even on unlimited plans. They call it network optimization or whatever they want to call it, but once you exceed 20 gigs to 23 gigs, you're getting slowed down by AT&T, by Sprint, or by T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Now, that's a hell of a lot of data, so most people never go near that.
When you're talking about that quantity, I'm thinking, unless you're a business, why would you be even approaching that?
Well, unless you are watching Netflix. If you want to get rid of your cable at home and use your wireless to replace Netflix, then it's possible if you're using it every night, you may approach that. So they're promising an open road for their unlimited data customers, which is great news. The bad news is that's 1% of their clientele. So they're talking a very, very small group of people. But those people are now going to pay about $100 a month for their services. And they're going to have unlimited service from Verizon, which is a sweet deal.
Well, the scary part about this is every week every week you're talking about these brand new deals and all this competition and all these wonderful things that are happening. In the following week, there's something new and something else happening. And these guys are giving you something on one week and they're taking something else away from the other week. I'm sure that the week that I would change would be the following week that the company I changed from would offer something better.
Well, you never know. And, they giveth and they taketh away, so now here's something else about Verizon, as we talked about with their super cookies. They're tracking you. We talked about that. Now that they bought AOL, they're really tracking you, and they want to use all of your information, your personal buying information, to help sell you Verizon services, AOL services, and they sell this information to third-party vendors as well. So basically, the fact, for somebody to make money on my personal information, let alone, share it, without my authorization would really steam me.
Oh, yeah.
And I know a lot of my clients are upset about this because Verizon never disclosed this until they were called out on the carpet. Now, anybody who is with Verizon and does not want to disclose this information can opt out. If they go to our website, or actually if they go to Facebook/DR Wireless, on our website, I have on the Facebook website, we have the opt-out phone number and a link, and you can easily call them and say, no, I don't wish to share my information. Pull the super cookie, and they will do it.
Well, you know what?
So for people who don't want to be tracked, that's very good information.
You know what? And
I have a big problem with that.
Yeah, there ought to be a law that actually reverses that and says that unless you opt in, they can't do it.
Exactly. I've been saying that for years. You should have the option of opting in. They make it where you have to opt out. You can't opt out until you know what they're doing.
Yeah, and then they don't. And then they don't disclose
what they're doing.
Precisely. Then they don't disclose it. So how are you supposed to know? You know, that just seems wrong on so many levels.
Well, I put up the fine print, you know, on our Facebook/DR Wireless site. So if anybody wants to read what they're allowing Verizon to do and how to prevent them from doing it, it's all there.
Well, that sound, you know, it just seems to me that it is just, what the heck is, what's going on with the PUC, the public utility companies, the regulators that are supposed to be protecting the consumer?
Well, they're now making Verizon, you know, disclose this, so that's good. And that's the only reason Verizon's, you know, giving you an opportunity to opt out.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't go far enough. They needed to force Verizon to shut it all down and make you opt in.
Yeah, well, that's where it's going, fortunately.
Yeah.
And before I wanted to forget, I wanted to announce that our favorite reseller, Solvay, is offering, it's their 3rd-year anniversary, so they're allowing us to offer an extra $10 off for the first 3 months on their $39 and $49 unlimited plans.
Wow.
They're the T-Mobile reseller that, you know, month to month, no activation fee, no SIM fees, and you just pay for the service. But the cool thing about them is $49 gets you unlimited everything with 4 gigs of data, $39 gets you unlimited everything with 2 gigs of data. They give you the unlimited 2G data, which is fine, you know, once you use your cap.
Yeah.
You'll slow down instead of paying more, which most people prefer. But smoking deals because it's an extra $30 off. And everybody likes to save a little bit of money.
Absolutely, especially this time of year. You know, we're entering into the holiday time of the year where people need a little extra money to buy those gifts that the receivers don't really need, but you feel obligated to get.
Exactly, and when you get the bad ones, you re-gift them. So.
Do you know what? I got to tell you, you know, when my wife and I got married, we had a huge wedding. We had 1,500 people at our wedding, a sit-down wedding, and everybody brought a gift, right? Well, I want to tell you, for years, I mean, we'd be invited to different occasions and different weddings and different things, and we just go out in the garage and find one of the gifts that we weren't using,
wonderful?
Rewrap it and give it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that.
Lasted a long time. Thank goodness.
That's great. Here's one, Robert. How about this? Have you heard Facebook now is looking to more than make friends? Now they'll alert you if your Facebook page is being used to, you know, for state-sponsored cyber threats.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. I guess people are using Facebook, you know, to promote terrorism.
Well, you know what? I just I could talk hours about that, and it just seems like we're not doing enough sometimes to curtail these radical people. I'm trying to watch what I'm saying here. In any event,
well, let's talk something positive. How about a smartphone application actually found a missing student in Georgia? This one?
No, well, you know what? Hang on. That's the perfect cliffhanger to go on a commercial break with. Give out your contact information, and then come back and answer how that the kid in Georgia got found.
All right, I'll do that. Anybody who wants to dig a little deeper on this content, it will be available at Facebook/DR Wireless. Otherwise, go to our site, www.drwireless.com, or you can contact me personally, Joel@drwireless.com.
And we're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Salzman. We'll be right back with him. Now, you don't want to leave, or you'll never know how this young boy got located when he was lost. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. So, Joel, tell us how this heroic smartphone saved this young man.
I love this stuff, Robert. This gentleman, Jimmy Hubert, was a Georgia Institute of Technology student. He was missing for a few days. They had last seen him when he attended a sorority semi-formal function near the Atlanta campus. And he was last seen 11 p.m. that Friday evening. And his friends even started a Twitter, Bring Jimmy Home, hashtag Bring Jimmy Home, trying to get people to help find him. And one of his friends, perhaps his date, realized she forgot her phone and had left it in his pocket. So using the cell phone app, the GPS app, they tracked the phone's location. They found Jimmy lying in a ditch near some railroad tracks about 7 miles from campus. And apparently he was jumped by a gang of men and beaten.
Wow.
So They found him bruised and disoriented with his clothing torn, but he still had the phone in his pocket, and that's how they found him. And his Twitter account shows him in a hospital bed with an oxygen mask giving a thumbs up gesture. So,
well, you know what? That's actually the happy ending to a tough story. And it's so sad that this happened to this young man. But how great it is the technology was the reason that he survived.
It's great to see technology used to do something positive instead of, used to rip people off or, take advantage of them, subliminally.
Yeah.
So I thought that was terrific. So really glad to hear that. The other thing, I don't know if I mentioned, because I think it happened after we hung up, but T-Mobile brought back a Meet Comp deal that's worth mentioning that is just fantastic. Actually, 2 deals. One is a 2-line family plan, unlimited voice, unlimited text, unlimited 2G data with 10 gigabytes of data each, not shared, as everybody else likes to do it. Everybody gets 10 gigs each, 2 lines, $100. Now, if you want a 3rd line, it's $120. You want a 4th line, it's still $120.
Wow.
And all 4 lines get 10 gigabytes of unlimited 4G. Once they go over that, they'll be throttled or slowed down. I hate saying throttled because it sounds like somebody's going to choke you out. But it just merely means they're going to slow you down.
Yeah.
Which I would rather have than paying, additional money per megabyte or gigabyte.
Yeah, of course.
So that's a fantastic deal. So anybody on a family plan now, 2-line that's paying more than $100 or 4-line paying more than $120, there's no reason to pay more than that. There's no chance that you're ever going to pay any kind of data overage fees with this plan because global roaming's included. You can't pay any local data overage fees either because it's unlimited. So that's an extremely good deal.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
And don't know if you heard about this, but, Sprint was the first company to have a 4G network. It was WiMAX. We all know they guessed wrong. Nobody else adopted the WiMAX technology other than Clearwire, which Sprint ended up buying. Mm-hmm. But Sprint's problem now is they're shuttering WiMAX. And WiMAX is a 4G, or actually a 3.5G technology, technically, that a couple 100,000 people are relying on in the U.S. to get 4G technology. So if this goes away, they're going to have to buy new equipment. So they're not happy. But the reality is it's an old technology, not going anywhere. It's going to go away. So some people are not happy about this. I think, it's a decision that they got to make. They got rid of Nextel. They're going to have to get rid of the WiMAX as well. So they've got some issues with that. And a lot of people aren't happy about that, those folks that have WiMAX. And if that wasn't bad enough, Sprint's also getting sued for $300 million fraud. And you knew that was coming.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they appealed it, and the appeal was denied. And what this was about is they apparently didn't charge tax properly in the state of New York. I guess New York makes you...
I got to tell you, New York is tough. New York is...
They must be. Apparently, They tax voice and text services independently. And so you got to break out the voice and text out of your plans. And they say Sprint was fraudulent the way they calculated it. And as a result, they got to pay $300 million in tax fraud.
Wow.
So not pretty.
No, wow.
So what can you do?
Well, you can't do anything.
Other than that, everything is good for Sprint. Their network has actually improved. Their ratings with root metrics have gone up. They keep, going above and below T-Mobile for number 3. And I think now that they just passed T-Mobile again. And I haven't really had any complaints recently about Sprint's 4G. So I think these days everybody's got fairly good coverage in the major markets.
Yeah, you know what? It's the technology. You know, every time I talk to you, I think about asking you, what's going to be new, what's going to be the newest thing coming out in new technology, and I keep thinking to myself, how can they possibly come up with something new? How can they come up with something else? And they always do. There's something that's better and greater and unbelievable. And they always come up with something that inevitably you're going to find out that you're going to use, and it becomes it's like a garage door opener. Joel, when I was a young man, they didn't have garage door openers. You opened your own garage door, rain or shine, right? You opened it. Then once you got a garage opener, that was a luxury. The very first time you used it, it became a necessity. Now everybody's got a garage door opener. It's the same thing with this kind of technology.
It's the same with cars, Robert. I'm dealing with the same thing. I drove my wife's car the other night, and I realized, oh my God, I got to take the key out of my pocket. Where with my car, I get in the car, it senses, the keys in my pocket. I press a button to start the ignition. I never have to take the keys out of my pocket. Her car, I had to take the keys out to disarm it. Then I had to stick the key in the hole to start the thing, for crying out loud. So I hear you. And here's the weird thing. What you were just saying, we have 5G coming in the next couple of years, and 5G is going to be the Internet of Things. So we're talking self-driving cars. We're talking about refrigerators that are going to order eggs when you run out. The Internet's going to be used for so many things we can only dream of right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy stuff.
Yeah, technology. The world has really changed. I wish that it was peaceful, but aside from that, the world has really, really changed. I don't even recognize the one that I grew up in.
It's a scary thing. I think about the world that I'm leaving for my daughter. When you hear about electromagnetic bombs and all kinds of crazy stuff. And, it's a terrifying prospect. We have this great technology, but hopefully it's going to be around long enough for everybody to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you see on the horizon that we're not going to be able to live without?
Well, I think personally that these Windows 10, I think this watch for this new Windows 950. There's a new Microsoft/Nokia phone called the 950, and I think they got it right this time. Ironically, I like that Windows 10, but I don't like it so much on my computer as much as I think it would be great on a smartphone. I think that is one of the best smartphone technologies out there. I have been using Cortana, and I agree with you. She's wonderful. I tell her to schedule appointments, open Facebook, all the stuff I would tell Siri, and she, seems to be really, really good at doing what she's supposed to do. And I just think I think that Windows is going to be a big problem for Apple. Yeah. Personally, I think that they're more of a contender. They could be more of a contender than Android.
Wow.
Certainly more than BlackBerry. So I would say, if I was going to buy stock or, buy into a technology, I think that this is, this could be Windows, chance here when they launch this new phone. This Windows 10 just seems like such a great smartphone platform to me. Yeah. What do you think? You're using it on your desktop.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
I mean, we're using Apple phones, granted. But
well, here's the thing. I'm using Windows 10 for my studio stuff. It's interesting. I'm using a desktop Windows 10 platform for the studio. Then I have two other computers. I use two iPads that I'm using. One of them is a studio clock, and the other one gives me news and weather and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm using my iPhone that I plug into my mixer board. That's how I'm bringing my calls in, because for some reason, the software that I use for the studio is not compatible with Skype, so I can't use Skype on that software. So I've got all kinds of different technologies going on here.
Well, if you could get your Windows devices to sync with a Windows phone like you are currently doing with your Apple computers and your iPad or your iPhone, To me, it just seems like such a logical. The world is Microsoft. Whether you like it or not, everybody's using, Word and Excel and PowerPoint, and who better to offer this on a mobile scale than the people who offer it on your desktop.
And have it.
They haven't figured it out for years, but I really think it's just around the corner.
And then have it totally coordinated. I mean, you talk about a win-win. Boy, I'll tell you. And then have it totally coordinated. It would just be unbelievable.
Yeah, and then with that continuum feature where you can hook up the device to any monitor.
Yeah.
And project onto the monitor with, there's lots of neat stuff coming. So I think, I'm going to keep an eye on the Windows stuff. I'm not selling my iPhone yet, but I am going to keep an eye on the Windows stuff because I believe that there are a lot of phones out there for under $400 right now that will give you the same performance as the $850, 6S's of the world.
Yeah.
And, we have a lot of those on our website right now, but there's plenty of amazing phones, including the new HTC M9 just came out, $399 for their flagship model, top-of-the-line phone, which is crazy.
Wow. Someday I just think we're going to send spies over to your house just to see how many boxes you've got stacked in your living room of phones and equipment that you haven't had a chance to test yet.
Well, FaceTime me one day, and I can show you what we got here.
I'll do that. All right, so listen, we got 1 minute before we have to say goodbye.
All righty. Well, anybody who, as I mentioned, is in the wireless market and wants to make all the right decisions, contact me first. Unbiased advice is a beautiful thing and very hard to get. Joel at drwireless.com. You can go to our site, www.drwireless.com. We have everything on our blog. We have everything on Facebook /drwireless. And it's all there for you.
Joel, this has been, as usual, it's fascinating. I don't understand how, other than I know it's what you do for a living, how it is even possible for you to keep up with all of the changes and all of the developments and all the things that are going on in this industry. You have got to be an encyclopedia of wireless.
Well, as soon as I hang up, they're going to announce all the new offerings for next week. So that's how it works.
Hey, great show. Listen, have a great week, my friend. Go out there and surf your heart out. Stay safe and stay happy, and make everybody whose life you touch a little happier for it, too, will you?
Thank you, Robert.
All right, take care. Now, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to be talking to you about some strategies for nailing down a home office deduction. I've got a lot of things that I want to talk to you about, so don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics at 4:08 p.m. Pacific Time. Currently 83 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? Our good buddy Ray Mailer is out on assignment. He's got something big going on. So he's got me filling in for him today. And so I thought what I would do is that I would talk to you about some special things that you'd find interesting. And the first thing up that I wanted to talk to you about, if I can find it here, is nailing down, or surefire strategies for nailing down home office deductions. And I think you're going to find this interesting, or I hope you do anyway. And so let's get right to it. You know, man, I got to get my breath. I was running. Let's see here. You know, a home office deductions can really mount up, providing ample savings. Here's the thing. If you're self-employed, those deductions may well be available to you. The same is true if you run a sideline business from your home. It doesn't have to be your only source of income. Now, you may even qualify for these deductions as an employee, although that's more difficult than it is for self-employed individuals. Now, what's required? There are 3 ways to get home office deductions. Of the 3, the most common is to assert that an area of your home is your principal place of business, and that's what you've got to be thinking about all the time. Is it your principal place of business? Tough calls. Here's the thing. There are 2 other ways to qualify for home office deductions. First is a meeting place. Even if your home is not your principal place of business, you can claim a home office deduction if you meet with clients or customers in one area of your house regularly, not occasionally, and in the normal course of the trade or business. Now, whether such meetings are occasional or regular will be determined on a case-by-case basis in the event that the IRS questions home office deductions. Now, regular meetings deliver deductions. Occasional meetings do not. Keep that in mind. And how about a separate structure? Rather than use an area within the confines of your living space, you might use a separate structure, such as a detached garage or your home office, or use that for your home office, for that matter, and claim a deduction for it. Now, you got to think about prime territory as well. Most people who work at home won't pass the meeting place or separate structure tests, so they must be able to rely upon the principal place of business requirement to qualify for home office deductions. Now, your principal place of business can be the location where the most important activities of that business are actually performed. You can qualify a home office as your principal place of business if that's where you regularly and exclusively perform administrative and management tasks for that business. In addition, there can be no other place where you perform substantial administrative or management activities other than that spot. So here's an example. John Smith is a self-employed consultant. He spends most of his working hours at clients' offices meeting with employees of those clients. John keeps a room in his house as an office where he writes reports, sends out bills, that kind of stuff. So the result? John may be able to take tax deductions for a home office. Now here's the loophole. John can take a home office deduction even if he maintains an office outside of his home where he meets with prospects and makes presentations to clients. As long as John does substantially all of his administrative and management work from his home office. That will be his principal place of business. So, if he's a salesman and he does all of his reports and keeps all of his stuff in his office, that works. Here's a strategy for you. If you have both a home office and another place where you do business, shift administrative and management to the home office. This will increase your tax deductions. Included, administrative and management activities are spelled out in IRS publication 587. That's business use of your home. And they include sending out bills, keeping books and records, ordering supplies, storage of inventory and supplies, setting up appointments, writing reports such as sales reports and financial reports. And how about a matter of time? In some cases, it's not possible to say where administrative and management activities are actually done. For example, a concert musician practices at home for performances that he does little administrative or management related to his occupation. Is his principal place of business his home or his concert hall? Well, here's the determination. Such scenarios may be decided by the amount of time spent in each location. In one real case that went to tax court, a musician spent much more time practicing at home than performing at the concert hall. Therefore, the court decided that the musician could take home office deductions. That was Popov, the Ninth Circuit Court. Here's a strategy for you. If there is no clear-cut answer as to where administrative and management are performed, try to spend more time, or work time at least, in your home office than anywhere else. That's what you want to do. Now, if you work at home but as an employee rather than someone who is self-employed, you still have to meet the requirements of for a principal place of business as described above. To take a home office deduction, you gotta be real about it. Additional requirements? Your home office is a principal place of business only if it's used as such for the convenience of your employer. What does this mean? If your employer provides you with an office space and does not require you to work at home, you probably will not be able to say that your home office is your principal place of business, no matter how much time you spend there or how much work that you do there. To pass the convenience of the employer test, your employer must not provide you with an office, and your employer must require you to do administrative management tasks at home. Now, all work, no play? Well, if you can say that your home office is your principal place of business, you're halfway along the path to valid home office tax deductions. The same is true if you regularly use part of your home for business meetings or if you do business in a separate structure there. Now, how about regular and exclusive? Remember we talked about that. The second half of the home office test is that you must have an area in your home that's used regularly and exclusively for your business. Once a year isn't enough to constitute regular use. Every day is. If it's once a week, you have a better chance than if it's once a month. Here's the trap, though. Not proving that you use it enough. Strategy? Keep records of your use there. If you work on a computer, for example, save your work every time you use your home office to show regular use. And if you have a room that's used for a home office, avoid using it as a guest bedroom, say, or as a place for watching television. Minimize other use of the home office won't ruin a deduction, or the minimum use of it. You can check personal email there or keep a tennis racket in the closet. That's not a big deal. There's a loophole here. A home office need not be a separate room. It can be part of a room as long as the area is used only for business. So if you have a huge living room and you take a corner of it for your office, that's fine. How about square deals? Once you're eligible, there are two ways to calculate a home office deduction. One is by room. Say you have a house with 8 rooms of roughly the same size. One is used for a home office. you'd be able to deduct 1/8 or 12.5% of your household expenses. You could deduct 12.5% of your homeowner's insurance premiums, 12.5% of your heating oil bills, and so on. You also can depreciate 12.5% of your basis in your home, not including the value of the land. To figure your depreciation deduction, determine your basis in the property, what you paid for it plus the improvements. Subtract an allocation for land. Your property tax assessment can give you the percentage. The result is your basis tax cost in your home. If your property is worth $500,000 and 20% of the value is land, the house has a basis of $400,000. However, use current value if lower than the basis. Depreciate the home office portion of the house. If that's 12.5% and the basis is $400,000, you have a $50,000 worth of house to depreciate. You do not need to redetermine this amount each year. You'll generally take that $50,000 of deductions over a 39-year schedule. Now, by square foot, say your home has 2,000 square foot of living space. You keep a 10-foot by 10-foot area as a home office. Your 100 square foot office comprises 5% of your home, so you can take 5% deductions. You can choose either the room or the square foot method, whichever gives you the best result. Now, here's a trap. Be prepared to show how you arrived at your home office percentage. If you use square footage, have the numbers ready. Self-employed individuals must use Form 8829. That's expenses for home use of your home or office use of your home, business use of your home, to calculate home office deductions and report the result on Schedule C of Form 1040. Employees who qualify take the write-off on Schedule A as a miscellaneous itemized deduction subject to 2% of the adjusted gross income, the floor, and use a worksheet in Publication 587, Business Use of Your Home. Well, learning the limits, 2 traps to be aware of if you want to take that home office deduction. You cannot deduct more than your gross revenues minus the deductions otherwise allowable for any homeowner, taxes, mortgage interest, and minus allocable business deductions, supplies, and that kind of stuff for the business if you deduct in your home office. Now, see Publication 587 for details, and any depreciation deductions you take will be taxed. When you sell your home, if you have taken $10,000 in cumulative depreciation deductions, for example, you'll pick up $10,000 in taxable income when you sell. Fortunately, that income generally will be taxed at 25%. So you might be taking years of deductions at tax rates of up to 35% and then pay the deferred tax at only 25%. That's a very worthwhile trade-off. Think about it. That is a good deal. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to talk some more good deals for you right after these brief messages. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live, and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Dental Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, I promised you some more good stuff. I probably should have given this to you earlier, but you know what? We're going to talk about summertime and home and travel tax breaks. Now, I know that we're now just entering into November. A lot of people take some travel breaks during the holidays, and this is a good time for that and to be thinking about it. But it's also not too early to start planning for your vacation travel next year and using some of these breaks for that. So let's get right to it. You know, summertime, and that's kind of what we're talking about here, is the prime time for many people to enjoy vacation homes and travel, and vacation time is even more enjoyable if you can finance it with tax-free income and take tax deductions for your expenses. There's some real opportunities out there. Let's talk about home and vacation homes. First of all, tax-free income from your home or vacation home. If you rent out your home and or a second home that you own, such as a vacation home, to others for fewer than 15 days during the year, the rental income you receive is totally tax-free. You do not even have to report it on your tax return. This is one of the simplest and best tax breaks in the tax code. So think about that. Even if you have a beach house or maybe the Olympics are around, you can get some big money as long as you don't rent it out for more than 15 days. It's yours tax-free. How about vacation planning? If a special event, sports competition, concert, that kind of stuff, draws tourists to the area where you live, or there is a high season during which rentals are highest where your vacation home is located, rent your vacation home out at that time for up to 2 weeks. Use the tax-free income that you receive to finance your own vacation. Think about that. How about this? Mortgage deduction for buying a boat, recreational vehicle, or RV, or a vacation home. You can deduct interest on a total of up to $1 million of mortgage borrowing used to acquire your primary personal residence and a second residence. Now, the opportunity here? The second residence may be a boat or RV, not just a conventional vacation home. Now, to qualify as a residence, a boat or RV must have living accommodations, including a sleeping space and a kitchen and a bathroom facilities, and you must use it more than 14 days a year personally. Now, property taxes, if any, are deductible on your second residence, including a boat or an RV. So think about that too. Now, vacation home tax shelters. If you rent out your vacation home for more than 14 days during the year, all of the income that you receive is taxable. But you also become entitled to deduct expenses related to your rental activity. Here's some examples for that. Depreciation, maintenance costs, utilities, insurance, advertising. To get full deductions, you must limit your own use of the home to no more than the greater of 14 days or 10% of the number of days that is rented. You know what? I'm getting a message from our own Suzette Mailer. I didn't know that she was listening here, and I wasn't able to catch what it was she was trying to say because I'm trying to do the show at the same time I'm getting this thing going. In any event, let me go back to the examples: the depreciation, maintenance costs, utilities, insurance, advertising, and yes, a boat, Suzette. Now, to get full deductions, you must limit your use of the home to no more than the greater of 14 days or 10% of the number of days it is rented to others. If your deductions exceed the rental income that you receive, up to $25,000 of this excess can be deducted against your income from other sources, such as salary. Now, this loss deduction phases out as adjusted gross income increases from $100,000 to $150,000. But it's a great opportunity for you. And this tax loss deduction can turn your vacation home into a legal tax shelter. You can claim it even as the home appreciates in value and even if it provides you with positive cash flow. Now, depreciation is a deduction with no cash cost. So it can result in a tax loss even if rent is giving you net cash income. Because if you get that kind of a phantom deduction going on. Now, deduction rules can be complex, so check them with the IRS publication 527. That's residential rental income. Also, tax-free gain bonus. If you buy a vacation home in a popular area that increases in value over the years, you may be able to sell it in the future for the same tax-free gain of up to $250,000 or $500,000 on a joint return that is available on primary residences. How? Move into it and use it as your primary residence for at least 2 of the 5 years before you sell it. If you sell your original primary residence, move into your vacation home and then sell that. This can give you 2 of those tax-free gains, a period of just over 2 years. The minimum time allowed between tax-free home sales. But think in terms of, for a joint return, that could be $1 million. That's a big deal. In this way, a vacation home subsidized by the IRS with all the tax breaks mentioned above may add to your tax-favored retirement wealth just as easily, just as well. So, keep that in mind. I mean, these are phenomenal things for you. How about this? Travel tactics. Combining business with pleasure can give generous business expense deductions for a business trip that has a substantial pleasure element, even if you bring a personal companion. Yep. Basic rule: if the primary reason for the trip made within the United States is for business, you can deduct the full cost of travel to and from the destination and also hotel costs at your destination, even if the trip contains a significant pleasure element. You can even have days on which you do no business if they are between business days, such as a weekend between a Friday and a Monday, on which you do business on or on a holiday weekend, such as July the 4th or Labor Day. Now take note, you can't deduct the extra cost of non-business side trips or purely recreational expenses, such as a sports event, tickets, that kind of stuff. If you extend your stay for personal reasons, you can't deduct hotel costs incurred for the extra days. Now, foreign travel, different rules apply when you travel outside of the United States. You can deduct the full cost of travel to and from your destination if travel's viewed as entirely for business. Now, some ways to qualify: travel lasts no more than 7 days. Travel is more than a week, but you spend no more than 25% of the time on non-business activities. Business days are those on which you actually perform business. They include days spent traveling to and from your destination, provided the day after you arrive and the day before you leave are considered business days. Therefore, plan vacation days in the middle of a trip rather than next to the travel days. If you fail both of these tests, then your deduction for travel expenses is limited to the proportion of travel expenses that matches the percentage of the trip days that were business days plus actual business day expenses. Now, for example, you spend 30 days in Paris, 20 of which are business days. You can deduct 2/3 of the cost of traveling there and back along with the expenses of the 20 business days. How about companions' expenses? If you travel with a companion, you can still deduct the full cost that you would have incurred if you had traveled alone, and the extra cost of bringing a spouse along may be just slight. An example, you can deduct the full cost of a single hotel room, even if a double room costs only a little more. The full cost of a rental car you would incur traveling alone, even if having a companion adds no cost. The full cost of the single airfare, even if the cost of 2 tickets is little more than one due to the family fare discount. You can also sometimes claim business meals and entertainment deductions for a spouse or other personal companion who travels with you. An example of that? Your spouse accompanies you on a business trip and to a business meal and entertainment activity such as a theater performance after a meal that you attend with a business associate and an associate's wife. Since the associate's spouse is there, your spouse can be considered to be there on a business basis to help entertain. Even if the associate does not bring a companion, your spouse's attendance for business purposes, perhaps he or she is a native of the associate's country, might still be allowed. The cost for all 4 people is deductible under normal meals and entertainment rules, with 50% of the cost being deductible to you. How about this? The net result? If you travel with a companion, you may be able to deduct much more than half your total trip. A lot more. Now, conventions? If your trip is not to a business meeting, but to a business convention held within the North American area, normal business travel deductions rules are going to apply. Now, this is true even if the convention or seminar is held at a location noted for its entertainment, such as Las Vegas. The North America area includes Canada, Mexico, several Caribbean nations, and certain Pacific Island locations. The requirement? The business convention or seminar must specifically relate to your business or profession. If you attend a business convention held outside North America area, no deduction is allowed unless you can show that it is reasonable for the convention to be held outside of North America. You must show a justification for its location. You cannot deduct trips for personal investment purposes such as conventions, seminars, or shareholders meetings. For detailed rules about deducting travel, business travel, and exceptions that apply in special circumstances, go see IRS Publication 463, Travel, Entertainment, Gift, and Car Expenses. There are a lot of things that you can deduct. You know what? Especially even when you have spouses with you. You know, when I worked for the Revlon Corporation, we did a lot of this. I would take my wife on a lot of wonderful trips with me. Most of those were inside North America, but we did Washington, we did New York City, we did Chicago, we did Hawaii, we did Florida, we did Disney World, all of those things because I was entertaining clients and they had their spouses with them. So I got to deduct the cost of my spouse as well. That is how that works. It's a fantastic way for you to get things done and to get out ahead of the game when it comes to travel expenses and meals and entertainment. You can't be unreasonable. But you know what? If you are reasonable in these areas, there are lots of deductions that you can take. You just have to be able to justify them. Don't think that you're gonna be an Amway person. They tell them all the time, hey, we're gonna take you on vacations and it's 100% deductible. Gosh, if you're with Amway, when you get up in the morning and start breathing, it's deductible. Well, that's just not so. There are rules and regulations, and they are tested, and when they are tested, you lose. You've got to be reasonable. You got to keep the rules. That's exactly what goes on here. You have got to keep the rules. But if you do apply the rules, you can find so many loopholes and so many things that you can get Uncle Sam to pay a major portion of. If you're in a 35% tax bracket, and let's just say you live in California, so you're in another 9.3% tax bracket, so you're in a 44% tax bracket, you can be going on a really nice trip and enjoy it with your spouse and get Uncle Sam to pay for 44% of it. Now that is not so bad, is it? No, of course not. Now, do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to give you the birthdays for today, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. And you don't want to miss any of these things. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:40 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 83 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what today is, right? Yeah, it's Wednesday, October the 21st, and it's somebody's birthday. You know what? I find this segment, really interesting because I love the idea that we're dealing with birthdays, and most of the time you've heard of these folks and don't even realize that it's somebody's birthday that you actually are familiar with. Today, this guy is somebody that most all of us have heard of. He was born in 1917. He passed away in 1993. A jazz trumpeter and major figure in the development of bebop and modern jazz. Happy birthday, Dizzy Gillespie. You know who he was? He was that trumpet player that when he played, you thought his mouth was like a balloon and it was going to explode. How about this? Born in 1956, an actress and writer most famous for her portrayal of Princess Leia in the original Star Wars trilogy. Carrie Fisher's birthday today. And here's someone I know everybody knows. Born in 1980, socialite and television personality, best known for her social life and her role on the e-reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Is happy birthday, Kim Kardashian. Well, what happened today in history? Let's talk about that a little bit. October 21st, 1879. Using a filament of carbonized thread, Thomas Edison tests the very first practical electrical incandescent light bulb. It lasted 13 and a half hours before burning out. You know what? You had to start somewhere. And today in 1959 in New York City, the Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum opens to the public. It was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. And then finally, in 1971, Pablo Neruda wins the Nobel Prize for Literature. Well, our quote for today comes from another really famous guy, Charles Schulz. You know who he was? The creator of Peanuts. And he says, I think I've discovered the secret of life. You just hang around until you get used to it. Boy, isn't that profound? Isn't that the truth, if you think about it? Well, let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. And the secret today is no different than any other day. It has to deal with a positive mental attitude. You know, you control your life. You really do. You just sometimes, you either don't believe it or you don't realize it. But if you have a positive mental attitude, you can control all the good things that are going to go on in your life. You know what? Today's secret is, how do you know when you've mastered visualizing? When it feels like a jolt as you open your eyes to the physical world? When that jolt happens, your visualization becomes real. When you visualize or imagine something, you are entering the real field where everything is created, and the physical is just the result of the real field of all that creation. Our imagination is our most powerful tool of creation. Always has been, is, and always will be. Think about that. Now, you know what? I want to talk about the Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is, if I can get to it here, let's see. I don't know what the heck is. There we go. Darn it, thing keeps slipping away. I've got this program that I keep trying to use to get this thing going, and it doesn't want to agree or work with me. But here, we got it now. Now, the management tip today is, it's okay to ban devices from your meetings. Boy, it's not only okay, you should. You know, we love to hate meetings. But since they're not going to be going away anytime soon, we should think of ways to make them more effective, right? One answer is to ban devices. The reason's simple. Devices distract us. Many people think that they can finish an email or read through a Twitter feed while listening to someone in a meeting. But research shows that we really can't multitask. When we're focused on our phones, we're missing important information being discussed and ignoring opportunities to contribute to the conversation. Devices also distract others. Research suggests that we feel annoyed when people are on their devices during a meeting, yet we fail to realize that our actions have the same effect on others. When people are presenting, they can also feel hurt or insulted when someone reaches for their phone, especially if that person is a senior leader. So leave your phone behind and pay attention. What's it going to cost you? Just a few extra minutes? Think about it. Isn't it just good manners, for Pete's sake? Yeah. Well, let's talk about those interesting but useless facts. Did you know that bulls are actually colorblind? It's the motion of the cape that angers the bull. It's not that red cape. Isn't that interesting? Well, did you know mercury is the only metal that is liquid at room temperature? You thought I was going to talk about the planet, didn't you? Yeah. Well, how about this? 1 in every 9,000 people is an albino. There's something to think about, I guess. Let's see here. How about this? Did you know that great white sharks have about 3,000 teeth? Yep, they're all waiting to come back in. Yep. How about this? Did you know that no matter how hard you squeeze the two ends of an egg, you'll never break it? Not the two ends. It's because of the geometry. How about this? The most push-ups ever performed in one day was 46,001. And I can tell you, it wasn't me. Nor would I ever attempt it. Nor would I ever think about it. Nor do I even care. How about this? The average human will eat an average of 8 spiders while sleeping. Now, that is disturbing. Did you know that starfish have no brains? So it makes you wonder, how do they move around? How do they do those things? They have no brains. What the heck controls all those systems? Or the powder on chewing gum is finely ground marble. Now, there's another scary thought. You like chewing gum? Give that some thought. Well, here's one for you. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team his sophomore year. He didn't cut it. Yeah, he didn't cut it. Try this on for size. Did you know that a 100-pound person on Earth would weigh 38 pounds on Mars? Now, there's a good reason to go to Mars. Now, did you know that most dreams last only 5 to 20 minutes? Yeah, and most of them take place toward the end of that sleep cycle. Let me leave you with this. A clue originally meant a ball of thread. This is why one is said to unravel the clues of a mystery. I find that kind of interesting. Don't you? Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to be answering your emails. And the first one up is from Alan Zip from Linden, New Jersey. He's asking about being a non-custodial parent. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Please don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live, and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Dental Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:52 p.m. Pacific time, currently 83 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, he's waiting in the wings, my good buddy John Matthews, who does the Conservative Syndicate radio show every Monday through Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's right after this show. And he's got a great series going on. He's got a great show anyway. If you need to listen to John's show, especially tonight, because I'm going to be on at about 6 o'clock. And John is just got a great show. You want to go to his website, because he's syndicated all over the place. The easiest way to listen to him live or his archives is go to his website at theconservativesyndicate.net and just punch on that little button that says listen live. Hey, John, what have you been talking about all week?
Well, we've been talking all week about, believe it or not, democratic socialism. We've spent the week educating our listeners as to what some of the more common variants of socialism is, like Marxism, socialism, communism. From there, we went in and dissected the Democratic Socialists of America's website, took their Q&A, and gave definitions as to what they believe socialism, why it's good. It's the new capitalism. That's what they're trying to package it as. Tonight, we're going to tie it all together, and our listeners will be able to turn our show off tonight at the end and know how to read the media articles and understand exactly what's being said. We're also going to reveal the 13 members of Congress that are card-carrying members of the Socialist Republic of America. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And of course, you'll be on the second hour with us. You get to join us in that part of our little journey this week.
Well, you know what? I'm excited to be on. Certainly, by the time you guys get done pumping them full of all that information, they're going to need me to wake them up in that second hour.
Oh, I certainly hope so. But I would if I could just make a real quick announcement here.
Sure.
We just got our numbers in today. We're affiliated with about 8 different affiliates right now. The 2 larger affiliates that we deal with at the Conservative Syndicate just gave us numbers today. We're now accessing over 1 million listeners on our show. So,
that is fantastic. Kudos to you, John.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. I mean, the audience isn't all ours, but we got a good hunk of it. So we're really proud to be affiliated with these people. They've really done a good job for us.
Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations to you. Listen, we'll talk to you in just a little bit.
Okay, all right. Have a good closeout, man. We'll talk to you in a bit.
All right, buddy. Now, it's time for us to answer your emails, and I want you to know that this is an entertainment section of the show, and so we always try to give you a comprehensive answer to the emails that you send to us. Sometimes, the information you send me just a little bit sketchy. So I do the best I can, but we always encourage you to check with a licensed professional in your area to make sure that they get you in there. They can interrogate you or interview you. Get all the information necessary to give you a good comprehensive answer. And the nice part about it is one of the requirements of their licensing is that they have errors and omissions insurance. Other people call that malpractice insurance, by the way. But the nice part about it is if they give you the wrong answer, they pay the piper, not you. So it gives you peace of mind and lets you sleep at night. And that's not such a bad deal, right? So let's get on right with it. I told you we were going to talk about Alan Zip sent me an email from Linden, New Jersey, asking about a non-custodial parent. And he says, my ex-wife and I have a child who lives with her. If I pay most of our child's support, can I claim the dependency exemption? Can I also file as a head of household to get a lower tax rate? Well, Alan, you can claim the dependency exemption as a non-custodial parent if your wife signs Form 8332. That's release of claim to an exemption for a child of divorced or separated parents. Now, while you cannot file as a head of household because the child did not live with you for more than half the year, your wife might be eligible. So take a look at IRS Publication 501. That's exemptions, standard deductions, and filing information. The other thing for you to know about that Form 8332 is there's two boxes to be checked off. One box gives you that deduction or that exemption for this year only. The other box gives it to you forever. So, you want to make sure, depending on who's checking that box, that you're being careful and you know what's happening with it. Now, next email comes from Larry Foster from Baltimore, Maryland, asking about conditional gifts. He says, I gave my fiance a valuable engagement ring. Will it be subject to gift tax? Well, here's the thing. You can make gifts of up to $13,000 to any individual annually and not owe a gift tax. And if you marry in the year that you give the ring, it's also okay because spouses' gifts to each other are tax-free, and marital status at the end of the year governs for the full year for tax purposes. If the ring's worth more than $13,000 and you don't marry in the year that you give it, state law is going to determine whether it's a gift. In some states, an engagement ring is deemed a conditional gift that must be returned if there's no wedding is going to actually occur, so no gift tax would actually apply. But in a state where the gift of the ring is deemed a completed gift, that recipient's entitled to keep, even if there is no marriage, then gift tax absolutely does apply. So you want to be a little careful. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com, where I get all the emails I deal with here on my show. On my next show, Sean Lefebvre is going to be talking about healthcare on his Geared for Wellness Corner, and John Matthews will be talking about his conservative syndicate and socialistic Democrats. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, I want you to stay happy, stay safe, be good, make everybody's life you touch better for it. Good night, everybody.